We have a packed week in self-publishing news. ClaimsHero is causing chaos in the Anthropic settlement. Draft2Digital pushed out more updates in some bad news. Spotify expanded their audiobook reach, and ALLi gave authors a rare look inside how author judges think. We also have new tools, new opportunities, and a few rapid changes you need to know about before heading into the holiday rush. All that and more in the self-publishing news for November the 25th of 2025. Let's go ahead and transition right over into things. Black Friday deals are everywhere, and I decided to join the party with the sale I rarely run. My print book, YouTube for Authors, just dropped to its lowest price of the year. The paperback normally sits at $19.99, and it is now $14.99, which saves you 25%. And the hardcover normally lists at $29.99, and it is now $19.99, which cuts the price by 34%. The sale is available in the US and UK only, sadly, and you can only get these prices through my links. No other retailer has this discount. This book distills nearly a decade of YouTube experience into a clear blueprint for authors. The strategies inside helped me build multiple monetized channels, and I'm using the same playbook to launch my new reader-focused sci-fi horror channel in 2026. If you want real traction on YouTube without spending a fortune or burning out, this guide will get you there. The Black Friday sale ends right after Cyber Monday on December the 2nd, so grab your copy while the price is still low. Visit dalelinks.com/YouTube for authors for the paperback and dalelinks.com/YouTube hardcover for the hardback edition. As usual, all links are inside the show notes, so I don't think I need to repeat myself on that. Do I? Hopefully not. Moving to the first piece of news here. Our top story comes from the Authors Guild, and every author caught in the Anthropic settlement needs to pay attention. A third-party law firm called ClaimsHero has been running an aggressive campaign to convince authors to opt out of the Bartz versus Anthropic copyright settlement. The settlement offers roughly $3,000 per work, split among rights holders. Now, ClaimsHero claims they can fight for up to $150,000 per book if authors opt out and let them pursue a separate lawsuit. Now, that message has misled authors, and the federal judge in charge of the case says the campaign is not only misleading, but may also be unlawful. ClaimsHero pushed ads and website buttons labeled Start Claim that actually trigger an opt-out. Class counsel called the approach a bait-and-switch scheme. On November the 13th, Judge Alsup held a hearing and called their conduct a fraud of immense proportions. He said it looked like a quick buck effort designed to trick authors. He ordered them to update their website within 48 hours to clarify they have no litigation experience and to remove any use of the word claims that could mislead authors. He also called CEO Matthew Freund to testify in person on November the 25th. Authors can opt out if they want to, but ClaimsHero does not explain the real trade-off. Opting out removes you from the settlement and kills the $3,000 payout. You would have to hope for a future lawsuit that might never move forward. Even if it did, the chance of a court awarding $150,000 per book is extremely low, and Anthropic would appeal anything that high. Now, if you want to opt out, use the official Anthropic settlement website. The instructions are clear, and the Authors Guild can help members who need guidance. All opt-out requests must be submitted by January 7th of 2026. Moving a little further forward here into the news items, the big anchor piece is from Draft2Digital. They made headlines again this week after last week's update about their revised content guidelines, and oh my gosh, there were a lot of you that are very upset about those content guidelines changes. We now have another shift in their distribution network. Now, according to D2D's latest Indie Advantage newsletter, the Digital Public Library of America will no longer accept ebooks from Draft2Digital. This change comes only weeks after Baker and Taylor announced they would be shutting down after nearly 200 years in business. Now, just a quick TLDR, the Digital Public Library of America is essentially the operator of Palace Marketplace. Now, D2D says authors should not worry because neither partnership generated meaningful revenue. Now, they also note they still have a strong lineup of library distribution channels, some of which are Overdrive and a handful of other ones. Now, that said, I'm a little bummed to see Palace Marketplace go. Not long ago, this partnership was promoted as a historic milestone, and I even interviewed the D2D team and the Palace Marketplace team back in February of 2023. I never saw any results from that channel, and I have doubts about its long-term future after this move. If a company like Baker and Taylor couldn't survive, it puts the pressure on even younger players to adapt fast. Now, DDD also announced that they have another thing going on. It's much better. It's the Smashwords end of year sale. Now, this is a huge deal. This is their 9th annual event, and every super sale since D2D took over distribution has broken previous records. Their most recent July sale saw a 35% surge in sales. Now, if you want to join the sale, it runs from December 8th to January 1st. The enrollment deadline is December 4th. Make sure you log into your D2D account and click Choose a Discount on the My Books dashboard to enroll. Now, I've seen strong results from these super sales in the past and highly encourage authors to consider submitting their book in this annual sale. As per usual, I should probably mention that you should already have your book in Draft2Digital in order to enroll in this sale, because otherwise you won't be able to get it into Smashwords. So you might want to get on top of that. I really have found great success in previous years in doing some of these campaigns, especially the end of year campaign. Moving a little further forward, some more news from the fine folks over at Bookvault. They dropped a solid upgrade this week for authors who run WooCommerce stores. Now, they rolled out a new health checker that makes the connection between your WooCommerce setup on your website and Bookvault far more reliable. So like if something breaks, the tool now scans your store, pinpoints the issue, and walks you through the fix without any technical skill required, which is really good. I'm already pretty overwhelmed when it comes to anything, when it comes to like WordPress and WooCommerce. Now, it checks your store connection, API authentication, webhooks, and system setup to make sure everything stays in sync. Now, if you use WooCommerce for direct sales and print fulfillment, this is a quality of life improvement. Now, I am a big fan of Bookvault and rely on them for print fulfillment for my Kickstarter campaign. So if you back the Kickstarter campaign, you can anticipate getting the books from Bookvault. So I'm glad to see these upgrades that make the workflow smoother, even though I might not use WooCommerce. I'm kind of more of a fan of the integration of Bookvault with PayHip. But this one is a win for everyone, in my opinion. Moving a little further forward here, coming from the fine folks over at Spotify for Authors. Spotify rolled out a major expansion this week. Eligible audiobooks are now available in 8 new countries. Authors can now reach listeners in Sweden, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Monaco, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and South Africa. In the 5 European countries, premium subscribers get 12 hours of audiobook listening each month as part of their plan. In the remaining 3 countries, the same benefit applies to premium platinum subscribers. Everyone else in those markets can buy your audiobooks through a la carte purchases. Now, if you're an account holder, you don't need to do a thing. Your titles are already live in those new markets. Spotify says this expansion brings more than 300,000 audiobooks to new audiences, with curated local catalogs and added features like personalized recommendations, automatic bookmarking, sleep timers, and audiobook recaps. I shared that one last week. They also report strong growth in established English language markets, with a 36% rise in listeners and a 37% increase in total listening hours year over year. Spotify claims their platform drives double-digit growth in audio sales for several leading publishers. Now, my take. Spotify continues to push hard to become the top audiobook platform worldwide, but competing with Audible is a steep hill to climb. Also, Spotify has a mixed history with authors. After buying Findaway Voices in 2022, they removed the narrator marketplace, attempted a rights grab in their terms of service, and pushed account holders into confusion before walking it back. Then they split with Findaway earlier this year, with Findaway entirely gone, which left the remainder of the company to be rebuilt under Voices by InAudio. Add in Spotify's long record of underpaying musicians, and it's no surprise that many authors feel cautious, myself included. The positive side is that Audible needs real competition, and Spotify at least pushes the market in that direction. I'm cautiously optimistic as usual, and will keep monitoring Spotify for Authors and share what I learn so you know whether it's a good fit for the long haul. Oh, Spotify. I would like to like them, but unfortunately it's just one of those cases that just make it really hard. But somebody that doesn't make it hard for me is the Alliance of Independent Authors. ALLi just published a new post from Book Award advisor Hannah Jacobson that breaks down what judging panels pay attention to when books enter award competitions. She explains that every panel works differently, which means there's no single formula for winning. Now, some awards focus on literary craft, others prioritize reader engagement or genre execution, and regional awards often look for local relevance. That variety actually creates more opportunities for indie authors. Hannah highlights a few fundamentals that show up across most awards. Professional presentation helps your book stand out before the judge reads a single page. Strong writing craft matters, but the definition of quality shifts based on genre and award type. Judges also pay attention to whether your book delivers on its promise, from story structure to pacing to the experience your category calls for. She also touches on originality, voice, and how certain awards value diverse themes or strong research for nonfiction. The key is matching your book with awards that align with its strengths instead of trying to appeal to every panel. For the full breakdown, I highly recommend reading the complete article on ALLi's website. You get a clearer picture of how award panels think and how to approach submissions with a bit more confidence. And moving a little further forward, this one's kind of exciting here. We're going to go through the rapid fire news segment here, and we're going to start it out with the fine folks over at the Spoken. The digital audiobook that's easy for me to say. The digital audio production platform Spoken is hosting a webinar on December the 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern Time to show authors how to create high-quality, digitally narrated audiobooks for their backlist using their pay-when-perfect model. And the next piece comes from a good friend of mine, longtime fiction and nonfiction author and 25-year publishing veteran, Kerrie Flanagan, opened enrollment for the Book Business Collective. It's her marketing membership built around a 14-week course, monthly coaching, and community. I cannot recommend Kerrie enough. She is the type of person you definitely want to learn from. And IngramSpark's Share and Sell. I shared a little bit about them last week. Now, IngramSpark is now showcasing authors who share their share and sell success stories, creating a valuable visibility opportunity across their platform. Now, I'm participating because of the giveaway we covered last week, and that is why YouTube for Authors is part of my limited Black Friday pricing. And then last but not least, of course, we're talking about Black Friday. I will reveal every Black Friday deal for indie authors on Friday, November 28th across both the podcast and the main YouTube channels. So stay tuned for the full list of deals and discounts that have come across my desk. And as we start to wrap things up, to lock in up. That's easy for me to say. Gosh darn, Dale, what's wrong with you today? To lock in up to 34% in savings, grab your copy of YouTube for Authors today at dalelinks.com/YouTube for Authors or dalelinks.com/YouTube hardcover. This sale is only available through my links in the US and UK. Prices reset after Cyber Monday on December the 2nd. That's it for the news. Did I miss anything over the past week, or do you have any hot tips or intel? Drop me a line on my Discord community when you visit dalelinks.com/Discord. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll catch you next week. Hey, thanks so much for tuning in. Special shout out to my channel members for both the podcast channel and the main channel. Without your support, some projects we do at Self-Publishing with Dale would be much harder to fund. If you want to contribute to the cause, visit dalelinks.com/memberships for details and get your on-screen shout out at the end of each broadcast. Till later, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale, and I'll see you soon.